ditch the templates. The just listed, the under contracts, the just sold. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to hear about it. And that's just the hard, honest truth. What they do want to see is how you helped a family go from their starter home to their dream house that they've saved up for. Talk about the story behind the transaction.
Yes. We're Sahara and Michaela, co-founders of Refine Marketing.
From corporate 9-to-5s to building and scaling multiple million-dollar companies in less than 5 years, we're not afraid to get into the nitty-gritty.
Giving you a raw and real look at what it takes to build and sustain a business.
This is Rise and Refine.
Welcome back to the Rise and Refine podcast. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday, y'all. I feel like we are so scatterbrained right now. It has been a crazy past couple of weeks.
Yes, it has been very crazy.
My mind is blank right now on this topic.
It's okay. We'll get there. I'll get us there. We can talk about what you wanted to talk to me about earlier, which is threw me off. I was sitting there working.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Sarah was sitting there working and I was scrolling trying to find some
brand
aesthetic photos to use for a brand presentation for one of our clients through Refined.
Yeah. Just
happened to stumble upon a gal doing the splits in a very seductive manner.
The seductive part doesn't matter though.
Can you do the splits though?
No, I can't. And she asked me that.
Can you touch your toes?
And I was like, I can barely touch my toes.
I can't touch my toes either.
I'm
like the most unflexible
You heard
human
it
being.
here. We can't do the splits. We're not flexible people and we probably need to stretch more. Let's get into our actual topic, which is real estate.
Yeah, we're going to dive into real estate and debunk a couple things that I know that you have heard, obviously, with that being your main career.
Yes.
But me working specifically in real estate and on the marketing side, I got told all the time by agents, well, I'm a real estate agent. I don't have to be on social media. I don't need to market myself. That's all through my brokerage.
Yeah, I don't have to do that. I don't have to be on video. I'm not comfortable with video, so I don't need to do it.
Yeah, and if you're not a real estate agent, stay tuned into this because this applies to all business ownership. If you are the face of a business, if you are a business owner.
Well, what we're talking about really can apply to any business because real estate is business and small business. Some of it will be a little bit more specific, but for the majority, I think a lot of it can apply.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
The biggest thing, let's just first dive into social media with real estate. And do agents need to be on social media?
Yes. 1,000% yes.
The easiest way that I can put it, if somebody asks me that and they're like, well, I don't really know, I get enough referrals or I don't. Well, there's two facts I want to say with this. One, are there millions of people on social media? Yes. So it's your chance to get in front of millions of people.
Yeah. An entirely new database that is outside of your sphere of influence.
Exactly. Two, a study actually recently came out, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I just learned that a study came out that said, how do people find agents? And it used to be like through word of mouth, through sphere.
Right.
Well, that's actually lowered. And the main way they find them now is online.
That doesn't surprise me, actually, because I feel like with anything that you do, whether it's real estate, whether it's brand and web design, whether
getting your hair done, getting your makeup done.
Exactly. A roofer, as random as that is.
No,
you are going to go check out their website.
Their reviews, their social media.
And followed up by their social media.
Yes, exactly. And so those two facts to me are like, okay, well, it's obvious. Like you need to be on social media.
Yeah.
And I think let's get into why we think people, realtors specifically, but really anyone, they're scared of social media. What do you think it is?
I really think it's just they're letting the fear of what other people will think of them get into the way of their success.
Yeah.
Or it's them allowing their minds to tell them that they won't be good at it.
Yes.
And that's stopping them. When in actuality, if I'm going to be frank, you're not going to be good at it when you start.
No.
It's going to be ugly. It's going to be really funky. You're going to misspeak. You're going to stutter. Your voice is going to tremble.
And I promise, what you think about yourself is the worst because nobody else is thinking that. Right? Like you're always going to be your worst critic, even doing this years later. I would say I'm a lot more comfortable camera on now, but I still we were just making fun of ourselves and how we look because that's like the reality of being human.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're never going to look perfect.
No, you will not because half the time I have an RBF on. podcast
we're like,
clips. Or we have very funky faces and it's not usable for cutting.
No. So you're just never going to look perfect. And I think that a lot of people are perfectionists and they expect to look perfect, and you're not going to.
Well, especially when like you're in real estate, you're a small business owner. Your face means a lot.
Yes.
And like how you appear and how you, what you give off to somebody.
Yes.
And so I can understand the fear being there. I mean, I definitely had that fear starting out.
Everybody probably does.
Yeah.
I always say to real estate agents when I teach it, I just say, get over it. Like, that's the easiest way for me to say, like, okay, there's nothing else you can do other than post and put yourself out there for you to get over it and be more comfortable. You just have to kind of take that risk.
Yeah. I mean, the only way to get over a fear of any kind, this can apply to anything, is to take action. Take one step of action, whether that's actually just starting to create a post for social media, or maybe it's you getting in front of the camera and just trying to film yourself with a talking video for stories, or maybe it's for a reel, and just start taking those little steps. And that's how you're going to gradually get more comfortable in doing this. But you have to take action.
Even Sphere, when we say Sphere, if you're not in real estate, referrals, word of mouth, business that way. Even if you're like, well, I have enough of that. Okay. But I mean, when we interviewed Taylor, she said it there, even though you may know these people and think they're going to work with you, social media is not always a way to find new people. It's a way to validate the people you already know.
Yeah.
And to get in front of those people to remind them, this is what I do and I'm good at it. So it can actually increase your Sphere and your referrals and your word of mouth just by people seeing you post. They want to see you.
Yeah. And also, like, if you are an agent and you're in a different area, if you have somebody come to you and say, hey, like, we're in Huntsville, Alabama right now. Hey, I have somebody that is a friend that's living in Atlanta, Georgia. She's looking for a real estate agent. This literally happened to me.
Yeah.
Taylor, who has been on the podcast, she's a real estate agent. I told her I'm looking for an agent. We're looking to buy, blah, 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 blah. She recommended her good friend, Brooke Elias, who we ended up working with in Marietta.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but I wouldn't have done that if I didn't know Taylor, if I hadn't seen her stuff, if I didn't trust who she was as an agent and the way that she marketed herself.
Yes, 1,000%. So it's not just to find new people. It's just a way to market yourself for everybody.
Yeah.
For other realtors, for your people you already know, for friends, for family. I mean, really anybody you can market with by using social media, which I love.
Exactly.
So let's give them some tips when it comes to marketing themselves on social media and like what to post and stuff. So what would you say is the easiest way for really not just realtors, but really any entrepreneur to figure out what to post? Because a lot of people, they're like, I'm comfortable in front of the camera. I just don't know what to do or say. I don't really know what I want to post about.
So I would first start out with creating some sort of a social strategy, and it does not have to be in depth. You're not going to a social media marketer. You're not going to a social media strategist and actually fleshing out a whole month calendar. This is more just coming up with a couple different pillars that you can speak on. You're already comfortable with. You're not reaching outside your comfort zone, because you going outside of your comfort zone is already happening with stepping out and onto social media.
Gotcha. Well, there's different forms too, right? Of social media. Like, for example, I see a lot of realtors, Sly's like rubbing up on Michaela right now. He's like, I know you're going to leave soon. It's my last chance.
Yeah, really.
So there's, like, you could pull up the phone, talk, and give value to people, like knowledge.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's the trendy side where they can find like voiceovers, music. There's like stories. Is that kind of what you're leaning into?
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, if there are, like, choose three. So I would say one is going to be more educational content, right? So maybe if you're in real estate, it's talking about the market. It's talking about maybe talking about your experience. Maybe you're walking them through what actually buying a home looks like, or maybe
your
it's
client process.
Your client, that kind of stuff. And then, so you have your educational content, then you have your funny, more relatable content. And so that's going to maybe you doing something that's a little bit more trendy on that's trending on Instagram, or maybe it's a trending audio and you do that. It just shows a little bit more of your personality and allows people to see a different side of you, rather than like the very buttoned up version that they probably see in a transaction, right?
Yes, 1,000%. So, and also, I'm going to suggest this not as a way, I'm not saying like do this and then go copy people. I'm saying do this just to understand like how it could look. I always say like find people who have a social media profile that you really admire that are in your field, and you can kind of see where they started, where they are now, how they have those different pillars, what they do. And then you have to figure out what's comfortable for you. Some people don't like the funny like voiceover. Some people love them and are great at them. So you have to test things out. And that's why the beginning is so weird and funky, I think, for people, because you're trying to learn what you're good at and what you like doing on social media. Yeah.
And it's like we said, it's going to take time. And you definitely need to just kind of trial and error some things.
I have a question. If you like think this is okay or not. Okay. So AI and ChatGPT is really big right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, like myself included, who put me on video all day long. I'll talk. Get me to sit there and write a caption. I'm out. Right? Like, I'm just not good. I'd rather talk to people than I would sit there and write. Would you recommend using ChatGPT? Because I have mixed feelings about it. For captions specifically.
So I'm the exact opposite from you. I would rather write captions than actually talk to people. So with that being said, I feel like ChatGPT is or has become more of a crutch for people, and it's not used in a good way.
Doesn't show your personality.
Right. And you can train it.
Yeah.
And we've taught masterclasses on how to train ChatGPT. I just that wouldn't be my go-to source for captions.
Yeah.
Because captions to me are a way for you to express your personality. Don't try to be all professional and buttoned up. Like, if that's truly who you are and you like being like dee, then so be it.
Yeah.
And like you like the black and white,
just
box.
Be careful and make sure you read what it says, because it can be sometimes very like, it's not a human.
Right.
It can
sound
say weird
robotic
things. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend using ChatGPT for captions at all. At all.
Okay. If you're struggling thinking of content, is actually using ChatGPT for content suggestions. Because watch this. I want to try something really quick on here.
Ooh.
Yes. So, because I've done this before and it did help. So I'm going to plug into ChatGPT. Give me suggestions for what to post on social media for real estate. And let's see what it comes up with. Okay. And see, literally, you could use it for this. It says property showcase, like show a listing, or when you're on showings,
like a video walkthrough.
Yeah, like you're already going on showings, like video it real quick. Market updates, talk about the market, virtual tours, home buying tips. I mean,
okay, so you can definitely use ChatGPT in terms of helping you think of content ideas, but when it actually comes to writing the captions, there is just ChatGPT does not know your voice.
Yes.
It does not know your brand voice. It does not know the way that you would organically speak in a conversation just like this. And I think we have a tendency, and I say we because I even fall into this trap, and it's taken me quite a few months to get out of it, is we have a tendency to be very, I don't know, boxy when we write a caption for our business, because we think that that's what people want to hear. When in actuality, people don't want to read something that looks like it just came out of a magazine. Unless that is your brand. Unless that is your brand.
Do you read captions as you're scrolling?
It depends on the content.
Gotcha.
But I always pour a lot of heart into our captions, because I know that at the end of the day, like, it is another element where I can add value.
And not everyone's like me. Right. I personally have severe ADHD, and I will not sit there and read a long caption.
Yeah.
But a lot of people really love reading it. I know we get a lot of comments that read captions and they loved reading it. So I think it comes back personality, but don't overthink captions. Just write what's in your heart. And I would agree though with you to not use ChatGPT for captions. So we talked about captions. We talked about how to come up with stuff. We talked a little bit about ChatGPT. What else was we suggest to real estate agents in terms of social media and standing out, would you say?
I would say ditch the templates. The just listed, the under contracts, the just sold. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to hear about it. And that's just the hard, honest truth. What they do want to see is how you helped a family go from their starter home, because now they're a family of 5, to their dream house that they've saved up for 5 years.
Or how you helped a
the
first-time
story.
home buyer through the process and it ended up being really smooth and they got closing costs covered.
Yes.
This is real life what people want to hear.
Exactly.
They don't care that you just listed a house.
Talk about the story behind the transaction.
Yes.
Nobody cares about the fact that you sold a house.
Nobody.
Except for you.
Yes. That's true.
That might be really, really harsh.
No, that's true.
They want to hear the story behind it. They want to hear the heart behind it.
Yes.
Because it's more about them and less about you.
Yeah, I would much rather listen to a story than I would to look at a picture of a house that you just put under contract.
Yeah.
Now, for Facebook, I'm a little different because I think it's fine for Facebook to post graphics. But like when it comes to true social media, I think like video and storytelling is like at the end of the day key.
Storytelling is the backbone of Instagram right now. It's the backbone of TikTok.
Yeah.
Like if you do not have a strong storyline, then your views are not going to be what you think they're going to be. Your likes aren't going to be there. Your overall engagement just isn't going to be what you think it's going to be. And so if you can really learn how to tell your client's story or walk through a struggle that you're trying to figure out, if you're speaking to another group, like if you have a lot of agents that follow you, then speak about a struggle that you're walking through. And I can guarantee you there's going to be at least one of those agents that can relate and that they're probably going to engage or thank you for being so transparent. I feel like I've told this story so many times, but the one time that Sahara was like, hey, I can't be the face of Refined. I need you to be that. And I had to step up and into a role of becoming more of a face on Refined. I was terrified.
Yes.
I absolutely hated it. And it took me bawling my eyes out on the floor of my closet because I didn't want anybody to hear me.
Yes.
Doing a voiceover for a Canva hack that is still our best performing reel to date.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, through the fear that I had, because I took action, we were successful.
Yes.
And it did plant a good seed of like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I am capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that at the end of the day, like just take the action. If you don't feel like doing something, do it instead.
Yes.
Actually just go ahead and do it. And you're going to feel at least 1% better about yourself, your business, and your capabilities on social media just by doing that one thing.
Yes. Social media is also a free place to gain views.
Yes.
Right?
To put yourself
And
out there in front of millions of people without paying a dime.
Yes. So it's just, why would you not do it is my thing. Like, why would you not do it? It's free to create an account. It's your own content. It's free for you to make your own content. You don't need thousands of followers.
No.
So, but you do need to post.
Yes. And there's consistency there. And when we say post, it's not like you have to post every single day of the week.
Yeah.
You don't even have to post 5 days a week. Like pick a cadence that works for you and your schedule.
That
if
you
you're
can
like,
stick to.
I am so tentative with this, I just need to start taking those little steps of action like y'all are saying, then choose 3 days a week.
Yep.
And say, I'm going to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I'm going to post Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and just start working it into your schedule like that. And then once you get more comfortable and content becomes a little bit easier, then that's when you can add an extra day and work yourself up from there.
Is email marketing too generic or still good for business?
Oh, it's imperative for business, and we don't do it enough as we are.
We don't do it enough right now, but explain.
So when you have a newsletter or an email list, somebody voluntarily submits their personal information, their first name, last name, probably a phone number, and then obviously their email, and to your possession.
They're giving you their information.
And you own that list. Nobody else can take that away from you.
Yes.
Whereas with Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, any other social media account, you, at the end of the day, do not own that profile.
Yeah.
And it could be taken away like that. I think email marketing is the most underrated tool that a business owner can use.
So for me, it's like, well, if the people nowadays, they also have so many emails that they always, you know, have spam emails where this stuff goes to.
Right.
So how do you make your email stand out to where people actually click on it?
See, that's where I'm going to be honest. I don't have the skill set to be able to say, do this. That's where I would recommend you actually speaking to somebody that is a copywriter that knows email
You think it's just
marketing
the wording?
strategy. Oh, it's 100% wording. It's 100% different techniques in how you actually script a newsletter to the title, the description, the actual newsletter itself, the contents, like everything. There's such a strategy behind it.
That's why we haven't like really gone like invested too much time into it, because we don't have a strategy for it necessarily yet, but we know it works.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely works. And I mean, even when we were being consistent in it, we gained over 500 subscribers in a couple of months.
I never even knew we got that far.
Oh yeah, in a couple of months. And so when you actually are consistent with it and you share it on your social media platform, and this is where the two are tied. So I say this all to say, I can't really answer you there because I don't have the background to educate, like provide a really good answer, an educational answer for that. So I would talk with somebody that specializes in email marketing or a copywriter that specializes in email marketing.
I think some good basics we could give y'all that we do know though is you can literally Google what's click rate and open rate you should go for when it comes to email marketing, to give yourself like a starting step. And then you can kind of compare the emails you're sending and adjust and change based on that. As y'all can see, we're still trying to figure it out, but I think we've learned recently a lot more about it. And it can be, I think a lot of people think kind of where my mind was at till recently, emails just go to spam. Everyone gives us their spam. Like it's not going to work. People don't read emails. Until recently, my mind has changed on it. And so now I do have email marketing back into my marketing for Embry Group, because I mean, that email really changed it for me.
And like y'all can see, we aren't perfect at this.
Yes.
Like obviously we're hit or miss with we were very, very strong with it when we started our newsletter, but I've been hit or miss with it over the last couple of months because other things have just taken precedent. Getting this podcast out has taken precedent. We've had a huge client load that took precedent. And so you can see that like things ebb and flow in a business. Yeah. And that's okay. Like things are going to drop off and you're going to have to pick them back up later, or, you know, it's business. It's natural. And so if something breaks or something, like you can't continue something for whatever reason it is, that's okay. Just as long as you're continuing to take action in your business. I do want to preface that.
Yes. With marketing in general, I also want to talk about just posting, just emailing is not going to equal clients. There's a lot of steps in between when it comes to once you get their information, get them to reach out. What do you do next? That's where I think a lot of realtors fail. Okay.
Well, you are so successful in this with you and your team. So I know that you are not actively
producing
anything right now.
No.
Or you have at all this year.
No.
But talk us through your system on a broad view for your agents.
I mean, it's a lot, but it's all about the process. And this is mainly focused on realtors, but I think you could use it in any business where somebody reaches out through marketing. What's the next step you do, right? You pick up your phone, you call, you text, you reach out because they just reached out. And then you establish that follow-up plan and you make sure that you're trying to get in contact with them and you're touching base. But nowadays I really come back to, when you reach out to people, a lot of people are like, well, what do I say? Like if somebody, even if they book a discovery call with us, like, you know, we are lucky in the sense of right now it's so set up, they would just book a discovery call. We email them, they want to book it. Right. In most cases, there's a little bit more follow-up involved. And so the purpose is people reached out because they like you. Looks like they might want to work out with you, or you had a tool for them to use, right? Now, if you want them to work with you, you have to what?
Follow up,
but you have to get them to want to work with you. Right?
Yeah.
You have to get them to like you in a sense. They want to work with someone. When you work with someone, do you want to work with someone you trust and what? Like.
Oh yeah, trust and like. But I also think that also comes a lot from what you're putting out on social media.
Yes, it does.
So like when typically we don't have to worry about whether we're going to
we don't
like someone or trust someone.
No.
Because they see who we are on social media. The authentic relationship is formed there. And then obviously the credibility is there with them seeing projects. Yeah. So I guess for me specifically, maybe you're just speaking to real estate agents in this realm, but I think with our business with Refined, that's not really the case. I don't have to worry about that. It's not the case.
We're very lucky with that. But in a lot of businesses, they do get what we would consider more cold leads. Okay. And you do have to, in a sense, maybe they didn't follow you on social media for a long time. They just saw a quick tool you offered, a quick home you had listed. So they don't know you yet, and you have to get them to know you. Okay. So my tip there is, and this is even if they like you, you still have to build a relationship with them, right? And so my tip is always like less scripts, more questions, more listening, more building relationships and nurturing. Oh, yeah. And that's what I tell my agents is don't make it so scripty. Don't make your emails so scripty. Make it very nurturing and make it more relationship building. And you can do that with whether they like you or not, with follow-up, reaching out, and just the words that you use in general. So there's a lot more to it when you get somebody to actually fully reach out to you. It's not as simple as now they're going to buy a house from you. Now they're going to work with you. They want to see good processes in place, and they want to know that you're not a salesman, but you're a human who's actually going to help them and that they like and trust you.
Yeah. So. And I think it just all comes from, like what you said, being authentic. Ditch the script. You do not need a script. Good granny. I feel like there's so many real estate agents. There's so many just business owners who get in front of the camera and they're like, ooh, I gotta sell. I gotta talk about my product. I gotta tell them everything, and just bleh and word vomit. Yes. Take a step back. Hey, how are you? Like, how was your weekend? Yes. Talk about that. Do you have a family? Like, what is that all about? Get to know them. Yeah, just ask general questions. And then if they say something that you're like, oh, well, I'm actually relocating from Kentucky to Huntsville. My husband got a job at Redstone Arsenal. Oh, like, why are you guys relocating? Yes. And then that's how you go deeper into the conversation. Yes.
I tell my agents, be nosy in a good way. Yeah. Like, you should want to know. I always want to know why people are moving here. Or I want to know, why do you need a bigger home? Yeah. Why do you want to die? Be nosy, because you can pull a lot out of somebody by being nosy, that you can maybe figure out, oh, we're from the same area, and relate to them. Yeah. So relating to somebody is huge. So it's not just about marketing. It's about also getting people to want to work with you.
Yeah. But just don't be weird. Don't be weird.
Don't be too nosy, like weird.
Yeah. Like if you start asking me like, oh, where do your kids go to school?
Yeah. Don't be like weird.
Don't be getting into it unless you're a mom and your kids actually go there, you know, but like, just be genuine.
Yes.
Be real.
Like, you want to get to know them. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's big. So there's so many different things that agents can do with marketing nowadays. I mean, agents can pay for leads. You can, but really some of the best ways is truly that organic social media reach, email marketing, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. And I think the excuse of, well, I'm just not comfortable with social media. It's kind of like, do you want to be in business? Everybody business wise can be on social media, and it doesn't mean you have to throw your personal life out there. No. Like, people laugh at me all the time because they're like, we see your business, but we know nothing about your personal life. I'm like, there's a reason for that. Yeah. Like, I don't really post my personal life online because I don't need to. I'm going to let you know how my agents are doing. I'm going to let you know, like, the next business venture. I'm going to talk to you about that stuff. But I'm very good with balancing, like, the personal stuff and not putting drama out there. I want people to see my business and what I offer.
Yeah. If you are a small business owner, if you're a personal brand, and that includes real estate agents, you have to have a presence on social media. It's just the way that things are moving right now. Yeah. And everything is video related. Everything is very forward facing. And people flock to Instagram, to TikTok for product reviews, product testimonials, for your service reviews. They want to see your portfolio,
branding, what you can do.
Exactly. Yeah. And so using the excuse of, well, I am a real estate agent, I am not a social media expert. Like, I just don't think I need to have a social media account. I don't need an Instagram. Drop the excuses, because we pretty much just eliminated every excuse that you could possibly have.
Why would you not want to get in front of millions of people? It doesn't make sense to me why people don't want to do social media.
I really think it's just a fear thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think it is.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like it's just like riding a bike. It literally is just like riding a bike.
Yeah.
When you first get started, you have your training wheels. You're even kind of like worried about that. So maybe your mom and dad's holding onto the handlebars. Then you get comfortable.
Yeah.
Then you start riding on your own. Then you take off the training wheels and you're getting a little wobbly, but you start to get the hang of it. You fall down, get a bruised knee.
Yep, you fail.
Then you eventually start going on your own and it's smooth sailing.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with social media.
It really is.
You are going to fail. You are going to blubber on there. You are going to blubber like like you are going to mess up.
Yes.
And it's okay. It is human.
I just want to like cut and have a reel of just you going But it's so true.
It's so true.
It's so true. So anyways, I hope out of all of this, I think we gave some really good tips for social media and talking about it, because I am really tired of realtors complaining about it. And there should be lots of social media classes out there, hopefully for you guys to take and to get familiar. Or, Google. Google helps. Chat GPT, like we talked about, if you can't think of topics. Like there's so many tools people have nowadays.
Oh yeah, there's so many tools.
Yes, but do not post stock photos.
Oh yeah, we didn't say that.
We didn't say that because all realtors use the same stock photos.
Well, I would say there's some stock photos that aren't bad, but like I love using dupe photos. It's DUPE.
But you don't post
photo.
them. Like
I use them with branding projects.
Yes, but you're not like taking the photo and just posting it as like the image for the day.
Oh no,
that's what I see.
Oh,
they go Google
don't do that.
And look up like a house, and they're like, "Well, I don't have a house to show today, so I'm going to post a photo of a house."
Oof, yeah, just better off not posting that day.
Yeah,
it's more about quality over quantity.
Yes, 1,000%.
Being consistent. There's a consistency piece that you need to stick with. So if you're posting 3 times a week, post 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 4.
Yeah.
You get the point.
Yeah.
But if you simply just are like, okay, I'm slammed, I just don't have the capacity today, then at that point, scratch it. Don't just throw something out there to throw something out there.
Just don't post.
Yeah, that's my hot take.
Yeah.
If you like this episode, please leave us a review, subscribe to our YouTube channel, do all the things. We'd love to hear from you. DM us. And yeah, we'll see you next Monday.
Yeah.